isn't it?
Eric in the van, wheels turning on the grind. Ricky on the rails, keeping time in line. CJ in the gym, gloves hitting like thunder. Yorkshire roots deep where the boxers go under. Fist fly, stories collide. Crossroads boxing where legends reside. Fighter interviews, previews, predictions. Crossroads boxing, no time for fiction. Yorkshire grit in every direction. Step in the ring, feel a connection. Bell rings, echoes through the cold Yorkshire air. Sweat drips, focus, sharp fighters don't care. Left hook, right jab, stories in the scars. Crossroads boxing, reaching for the stars. Eric, Ricky, CJ, the crew. From the podcast mic to the boxing view. Predictions that hit interviews that spark. Crossroads boxing, lighting up the dark. Fighter interviews, previews, predictions. Crossroads boxing, no time for fiction. Yorkshire grit in every direction. Step in the ring, feel a connection.
Oh, how are we all?
Yeah, good boys, you?
Yeah, not too bad. Eric, how you doing, man?
Good, bro. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, I don't know why I was on mute. Yeah, my laptop's just playing games today with me. It's playing games. But welcome, boys. Show, final round. Our new review show on a Sunday. We're going to try and do this on a Sunday. So the fights are fresh in our minds. No CJ today. CJ's busy. But we have got Dan, who is a new member of the team. One of our new sponsors as well. But yeah, before we get into it, we'll just hit the D-Rock Clothing sponsor promo video.
Oh, welcome everybody to the first episode of the final round, our little sideshow that we're doing just to do the reviews of the weekend's events and everything else that's happening. As my work schedule changes, it's just to keep us all together in a sense. But lads, how are we all doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
All good, mate. All good.
Overall, before we break it down and start looking into these fights and the fight card, what did we make of the actual event as a whole?
Eric's gone, has he?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I've got a little bit of lag and all actually there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't actually watch the event last night. Obviously, I've been busy. Mum and Dad been moving and stuff, so I've only caught up with the highlights this morning as to how the fights went and things. But I'm absolutely gutted with the Nick Ball knockout. Big Nick Ball fan, me.
I know. I know Eric's not as fond. I am also quite a bit of a Nick Ball fan. But Eric, did you catch up with any of the prelims at all?
No, not the prelims. Did I catch up? No, I didn't catch up with any of the prelims. I started the show from when it started on the Zone. The Strand.
The 7
Strand
p.m.
fight was the first fight I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So
because these kids running around, I didn't have the luxury of watching it.
To be fair, I didn't either. Obviously, when Manuel played, Donny played, and then I was working, so I tried to get a bit of kit. But just to reiterate what happened then with the results, so you had Luke Turner getting a TKO win, Sam Norris with a points win, Luke Pryor, William Birchall, Lucas Bizwana all with wins themselves. Paddy Lacey took a loss, and then I think Stephen Clark was the last fight of that prelim card with a TKO win. And then we're on to the main card, which the first fight of the night was Brad Strand. I've took some notes. Again, I know you didn't watch the full card, Dan, but we'll go through anyway and just see what you think. But I thought I'll start first with Brad. I thought he had an aggressive start. Found his distance really quickly. He had quick, sharp punching, worked to the body from the get-go. Gonzalez looked very negative. He looked quite skinny. I thought, like really, really thin. I don't know if that's his natural weight. I know they kept saying he gave up weight to fight Brad, but I don't know how much weight he gave up. I thought Brad Strand, he was clean, he was accurate, he had good shot selection. His backhand were landing for the duration of the 3 rounds. And then he obviously started landing some vicious body shots, badly hurt and dropped Gonzalez. He applied the pressure, got the stoppage win. And that were all she wrote. It was a 3rd round stoppage, I believe. And I thought overall a very good and great performance by Brad Strand. Dan, you've seen the highlights. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like I say, I didn't watch the card, so I've had to catch up on highlights this morning. But I pretty much, in my notes, I've got written down exactly what you've just said. It was a very fast start. He was very accurate with his punching. He was picking his punches really well, and the body shots were just something else. I think it was in round 2 where he hit him with a kidney shot, and he just went down, and there was no recovering from that. I think he managed to get through that round, didn't he, and get into the 3rd round, but I think he was just hurt from there. It was very ferocious, very fast start, and it was a very, very good performance from Brad Strand, I think.
Yeah. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
I think Gonzalez was moving up in weight. I think he was up in weight for this fight. You could tell the difference. You could tell the size difference. He looked a lot smaller. I think the first round you sort of expected how it was going. Strand looked like he was going to get him out of there. There wasn't really anything. But fair play to Gonzalez. I think he realised he couldn't move as much, and he decided to trade with Strand. And he landed some shots. He did land some shots. He was tough. He was getting hit. But like Dan said, it was the body shots what really undid him. The 2nd round, he got it to the body, went down, took a knee. I think the 3rd round, he ended up in the 3rd round. Same thing happened, and the referee I think the towel went in. I'm not sure if that the one where the towel went in.
The towel came in actually about 20 seconds before, but the ref didn't see it because he had his back to it.
The referee didn't see it. The towel came in, and that's all it was. Good performance from Strand. The opponent, I'm sure they said on commentary that he is a weight class below Strand. I'm not sure why he was fighting up there, but he did look it, and Strand did what he had to do. In a good performance, it just moves on.
I'm quite surprised though, that he's gone up in weight to fight him, because, like I was saying, he looked really skinny. So if he was already at a lighter weight, like fucking hell, how skinny is he?
Yeah. There was 7 pounds difference between them.
Bloody hell. Yep. So what do we make then? Obviously, Bradman's got the win. He was there to get the win, obviously. He only suffered 2 defeats against Dennis McCann and Ian Belota. What do we think then? Where do we think Brad Strand can go from here? Like, what do you reckon would be the next best course of action?
I think he just needs to keep taking these fights and kind of keep progressing and keep improving. I mean, it's clear from his record he's not usually he doesn't usually win by stoppage. I think in his 13 fights, 15 fights, he's only had 4 stoppages. So I think he needs to keep that experience going, keep the learning, the trade, and then keep moving forward. I don't think he's going to be a big name very quickly, but he's clearly got the talent to keep progressing. And obviously that fight yesterday, that he can clearly punch well. He can clearly punch well and clearly land the big shots. But like you said, there was a big weight difference. It might not sound a lot, 7 pounds. What's that? It's half a stone, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. It's half a stone. And that in boxing, that is a major difference, which obviously we all know. So I think, you know, there's obviously room for improvement there. He was very good in a very good performance, very fast hands and picked his shots well and accurate. But I think obviously, I don't think it's not going to be a fast improvement. I don't think, in my opinion.
No, like you say, I think it's a rebuilding. I think he needs to take a couple of these fights as he builds on his career with the losses. Eric, go on, mate.
Yeah, I think now, I think this year people are going to realise that rebuilding isn't such a bad thing with these guys. You've got to start somewhere again. His losses is what? Dennis McCann? And
Dennis McCann and
Beluka, is it?
Yeah, Beluka can give anybody a hard night as well. Like
Beluka, you know,
if you're not on your game.
That's my point. Those two losses are learning fights, really, because Beluka's a tough man, very tough man. He's never given anybody an easy night. And Dennis McCann, we've seen what he was. He was a prospect to do something. So starting again isn't the worst in the world. It was a good start. Getting the stoppage will mean the world to him, especially with him not being a big puncher. But getting those stoppages to the body, they're special, them ones, because when you land the right shots, you know it's a good shot that's being placed properly. So yeah, it's good for Strand. I just think you keep building. You keep building in Liverpool, keep active. You went 3 rounds there. For me, you need to be out again next month. Out again next month or the month after, very quickly. Keep getting these rounds, keep learning. But yeah, it was a good performance from him. Fair enough.
Out of interest, where would you rate him against Dennis McCann? Because personally, I really rate Dennis McCann. I think he's a cracking boxer, and obviously Dennis McCann did beat him. Would you say that McCann is levels above Strand at the standard?
The problem you've got with Dennis McCann, like I do with everybody who's come out and with a failed test, is I don't know whether these performances you've shown before, like you said, Dan, they does look good. Has that had something to do with it? I don't know. When it comes to drug testing, that if you fail, people say, oh well, it don't mean he lost all his other fights. Well, if I know that you failed and all your fights before that was spectacular, and I've not seen spectacular since then, I've got questions. I've got a lot of questions, because we know that, especially when it's not world level or high profile fights, there's not much drug testing in boxing. These small hall shows, they can't afford to drug test all these fighters. So there's questions. There is a lot of questions still, but Dennis McCann's skill set, how he's looked, 100%. I think he's better than Strand. I think Strand still has a lot to learn, but we've yet to see Dennis McCann come back yet from said ban. So
I just want to add in here quickly. I'm very suspect about Dan's choice of boxers he likes. You know, every fucking drug cheat,
Yeah.
He loves drug cheats. This man, he loves them. Oh my god. Every time.
I wasn't going to bring it up because I didn't want to start Eric off, but yeah.
Fucking hell, fucking Jesus.
It's just... Yeah, go on, Rick.
We'll move on, boys. Hassan Ishak against Leonardo Baez. Another 3rd round stoppage, I believe. He came out all in pink. Initially, I thought, is that Terry Harper's gear from the fucking Eco Power when she main evented there? Because it was very similar. Hassan Ishak, sorry. Adam Bull saying is Slouth Mayweather. Wouldn't really give him that just yet. But what I've wrote down here, you know, he was patient. There were no sudden way. He weren't quick off the mark. He had a quick jab. He was feinting a lot. I think sometimes he might have waited a little bit too long for his counters. But when he got based down in the second round from a body shot. Then he started up in the tempo, started landing the harder, cleaner shots, quicker shots. He had more urgent in his work rate, and then he did force a stoppage. The third round, obviously, spat the gum shield out, and that after a right and left hook, and that rim done, he'd had enough. I don't think it's the South Mayweather though, boys. It's big statements when you're coming out and you. I know it's Adam Booth in it. It's what he does. He's done it with all his fighters, but. Just when you're that early in your career, you don't need to be comparing yourself or comparing your boxer and putting that amount of pressure on them, in my opinion. Let them develop, let them earn their own fighting style, and let them flourish. Yeah, I was impressed with him, but I think there's a lot of flaws there. There weren't a lot of upper body movement, and he needed to be quicker off the mark. He waited a bit too long for those counter shots, in my opinion. But yeah, go on, Eric.
I'll say what I will say is I don't understand where that nickname came from, because there wasn't anything he did in that ring that tells me he fights like Floyd Mayweather, or the scene saying, "Oh yeah, he did a shoulder roll." The performance was good. His punch selection was good. You need to you use the shoulder roll on people that are attacking you. Why are you using the shoulder roll when you're in complete control of the fight? You don't really need to. It doesn't need to be implemented. I just feel like it was a good performance for him. Like you said, when your trainer is mentioning the likes of Floyd Mayweather and stuff like that, we expect a Floyd Mayweather sort of style. If you know what I mean. If someone tells me, "Oh, this kid is like Roy Jones," I expect the hands down. I expect the slipping. I expect, you know what I mean. I expect to see.
The eccentricity,
some sort of version of I expect to see something. I didn't see that from him. Not that it was a bad thing. I think the nickname is probably the worst thing out of his performance, because he went in there, he was patient, he picked his shots, so selected some good body shots, and got the kid out of there. So yeah, the performance was good. Looking forward to seeing him again. They need to get rid of this comparison with Mayweather as well. And just let the kid fight, because he seems a good fighter. He does seem a good fighter.
Yeah. Go on, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as I said, I didn't watch the card. There was minimal highlights on this fight, so I only saw a little bit. But from what I've seen, I thought it was a good performance. Obviously, it was, he got the stoppage, he got the win. But I think from what I saw, I think he looked rather stiff. He looked very kind of like rigid. He wasn't taking the opportunity. He could have probably got it done earlier, to be honest with you, but he wasn't taking the opportunities. He looked very stiff. I always, when I look at boxers like that, I always think to myself, I think of the kind of the bodybuilder style, if you like. They're very big, but it slows them down because they're big. And I think that I think from what I was watching, what I've seen, I think it looked like he was stiff and he couldn't move very well because he was obviously quite big built. But he got the job done. Obviously, he picked his punches eventually and got the stoppage. But like I said, I saw minimal highlights of it, so I can't really say too much more on it.
Yeah, like I said, I just think it's the nickname. You don't need to be putting that type of pressure on your fighters, especially so young, early in the developmental stages of the career. I'm looking forward to seeing him develop. I do think he's got promising a future ahead of him. But yeah, just get rid of that name, increase your work rate maybe in the earlier rounds. But yeah, let's move on. Andrew Kane versus what's he called now? Wait there. Don't know what he's called. Alejandro Gonzalez. This for me, boys, actually probably the fight of the night. I really enjoyed this fight. Now, they were feeling out process in the first round. Gonzalez more composed, boxing well on the back foot. You got Kane coming back, working well, coming forward off the double jab and changing the levels of the attack. I thought when he came in with a double and went underneath and then came up, I thought that's when he had quite a lot of his most success. He were working the body well. He had good footwork. He were very quick in and out. He were down twice in round 8 from body shots, and I was like, oh my God, like, what is going on? I thought he's not going to survive. He got saved by the bell after the second knockdown. And I thought it's hard. That's probably all she's wrote. And wrong was I, because he then dropped Gonzalez, clipped him as it were like a looping hook. It didn't look like a big shot, but when you see the replay, it is a big shot. It's a quite a tempo resetting shot. And then he upped his work rate, landed a couple of big shots, cut Gonzalez, and then forced a stoppage. And I was like, fuck. Oh, like if you put that in, say, WWE, go on.
Do you not think the stoppage was a bit premature to say that Kane had gone down?
I do. I was
Gonzalez. I
was going to say.
I know he was cut. I know he was cut. But I really didn't like that stoppage, because Kane had already been down twice in the round before, got saved by the belt. Was it Gonzalez? His name? I can't remember his name.
Gonzalez.
Alejandro Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Yeah. So he went down in the ninth. He got back up, and then as he was walking away, was it the second knockdown? Was it his second time he got knocked down? As he was walking away, the referee was counting, and he went to turn. As he turned, I know he's got a cut over his eye.
Yeah,
but as he's turned, the referee's just waved it off, and I thought to myself, you've just had probably the two best rounds of the fight right now. One guy going down twice, him being allowed the courtesy of getting the full count. Because even when Kane went back to his corner, he slumped over the ropes in his corner at the end of the eighth, when the bell saved him. So to just not give Gonzalez the full 8 count, say to him, are you all right? Come to me. Are you okay? Give him that, because it was such a good fight where I felt it was a 50-50 fight. I think had that fight gone to the cards, it would have been, them cards might have been all over the place, because I felt like it was a really close fight, really good action. But the stoppage for me sort of ruined it. And obviously, Kane, the hometown guy, that it won't be spoke about as much, because it went in his favor. But had that been the other way around, I think people would have been calling a little bit of corruption, because I felt if you've dropped something twice in the previous round, they were saved by the belt, I deserve the courtesy of getting my full count and at least another chance in that same round to survive. If then I'm getting onslaughted, then wave it off. But for me to get on my feet, turn around, look at you, and for you to wave it off as if I'm being battered completely, and this guy is fresh, I just thought it was a bit soon.
Right. So I'm just going to quickly finish my point. So, like I was saying, if you had that in WWE, you'd be thinking like that's just a typical storyline. For me, it's like only in boxing that this sort of thing can happen, where against all the odds you can pull off the unthinkable. But as I've got written in my notes, did you think the stoppage was early? Obviously you do. Like you said, he had a cut.
We'll let you finish.
it was wobbled, but he was walking back with the referee and then turned around to acknowledge the referee with his gloves up, and then he was waved off. And I just think, I as well, going into that 9th round, I had him 77-74. I had him 3 rounds up. The knockdowns probably would have clawed it back a little bit, but I had Gonzalez up. So I think it were a bit. I think it's in Liverpool. It's the home boy. I think they gave him a big benefit of the doubt. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm glad you've just added that little bit in, because I thought I was going to be disagreeing with both of you and what you were saying, to be honest. I've only seen the highlights, but what I've seen up until round maybe 5-6, I thought Kane was all right. I don't think he was anything special. I don't think he was doing much to win rounds. I up until round 9, I had him losing. And I had him losing by quite a few rounds. Obviously, the 2 knockdowns in round 8 kind of came out of nowhere. But I have written down here that from what I've seen, Kane, although he was picking some good punches, he was doing a lot of swinging. There wasn't a lot of straight shots down the pipe. And he was getting caught because his hands were low quite a lot of time. And that's why, obviously, in round 8, he got caught twice because his hands were all over the place. He was swinging wildly. Didn't expect him to come out in round 9 like he did, because I thought he's going to be dazed. This is game over. I thought, this is the end of the fight now. He's not going to recover from this. Came out firing. He was picking better shots in round 9. He was landing some really good shots. He was like an animal. But the stoppage, I agree with Eric. I think the referee, he got up, he looked at the referee, he went to walk back to the corner. Referee was at around 6-7 at this point. He turned round and the ref's just waving it off. Now, he did have a big cut. It was a big gash on his eye, but it wasn't pouring with blood. And like you said, the 2 knockdowns, he'd given Kane the benefit of the doubt. I just think he should have been able to have that 8 count and carry on. And if he got stopped, he got stopped. And he probably would have got stopped with the way Kane had come out in round 9. But it's, I think it was an early stoppage, in my opinion. I don't think it should have been stopped like that.
That with the cut, though, as well. Normally, that's to the doctor's discretion. Do you know what I mean? You let the doctor look at it. I'm with Eric. I'm with yourself. I think it was premature. I think only in boxing this can happen. But yeah, don't get me wrong. If anyone's going to be on the wrong end of the result, I'd rather it have been Gonzalez on the night than our own home fighter. But you've got to see a rematch. It was a great fight. It was a really good fight. And for me, fight of the night. Yeah. Has anyone got anything else want to add on to that?
I'll add on to it that Dan, you're right. Kane, Gonzalez just seemed quicker than Kane. When they both pulled the trigger, it felt like Gonzalez's shots got to the target a lot quicker than Kane, and Kane was ended up missing. The stoppage really kind of annoys me on them ones, just simply because when you're away from home, it's already hard enough. I
Not
don't
just
believe
that,
them
it was
scorecards would have been favoured to him.
No. And not just that, it was a final eliminator for the WBC as well. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was just a standard fight. There was something at stake here as well for both of them. I like you said, Eric, I can't get over the fact that Kane was given the benefit of the doubt with the 2 knockdowns in round 8. He was saved by the bell. But yet, Gonzalez wasn't. And like I had Gonzalez winning. I had him winning.
Like Ricky said with the cut, for me, once a guy gets knocked down like that, you see it plenty of times that the knockdown, then the referee's counting, like you said, he got to 8. The kid turned round. You could see the cut. Normally, referees will go, right, time out. Let's go to the doctor, because that's a break in play where the cut's just happened. For one, the cut looks quite bad. It does look quite bad, but also it gives you a chance as a referee. You know what? He's just been knocked down. He's got a cut. That blood eventually is going to start dropping. It's going to start because it was quite a big cut. Take him to the referee. Give him a second. Let the referee have a look at it. But to make that decision on 8, by the way, Andy was up he was up at like 5. I think he was up, more or less. And to wave it off at 8, as he's turned round, put his gloves up, I think the referee, I don't think the scorecards would have favoured Gonzalez either, in my opinion. But we'll move on to the main event anyway, and there's some more refereeing decisions there.
Yeah, well, just before we do move on to the main event, there was Jack Turner versus Martinez. This was, in my opinion, probably the biggest mismatch of the night. Jack Turner, bigger, stronger, hard shots, fast shots, dropped him. Martinez, for how long he survived, clinging on for dear life. Probably should have been deducted to the point with how forcefully he was clinging on. Yeah, complete mismatch. I didn't take much from the fight, in my opinion.
He was deducted a point. he was actually deducted a point in round 3. He was deducted.
Oh
yeah. Yeah, and then I think the corner, when he went back to the corner, the referee was just like, I'm not dealing with this no more. I'm just waving the fight off. You lot don't want to fight. So, it was a mismatch.
Urbina actually. Sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
Urbina actually in the corner took his gum shield out, looked at his corner, and he was like, I don't want to continue. Do you know what I mean? It was a complete mismatch, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those fights that was just there was not much point in it. But for Jack Turner, he gets his win. He moves on.
He's got a great jab, Jack Turner.
Yeah, that's it on that fight.
It was solid. That jab was solid.
Strong, strong jab.
Right, the main event: Nick Ball versus Brandon Figueroa. Obviously, my predictions I thought Nick Ball were going to take this one out of the bag. You know, big things coming up for Nick Ball. I thought Inoue fights on the horizon, things like that. I was expecting everything. He came out fast. Obviously, Figueroa, I thought he took the first round. I thought he established his boxing ability really well. He was busy in the first round. I know Nick Ball landed that beautiful uppercut a couple of times, but I still felt like Figueroa had done the majority of the work. Brandon, he had the volume, but Nick Ball had the fast hands, he had the counters. He had the more eye-catching shots I found every time, and I thought that might be what swayed people, especially the pundits. I know they're all British, so they're obviously going to favour the home fighter. It was close. It was so close. And then after 6 rounds, I had it even. Like they were going toe to toe. They had the different outputs. You know, Nick Ball with his quick, fast, hard shots. Figueroa with the work rate and the boxing ability. But then I felt the mid rounds. I think it was 7, 8. It might have been. Figueroa sort of fell into like he was just pushing his shots. It was just there weren't no effort into him. He was just throwing them, but. He was throwing them for the sake of throwing them with nothing behind them. There were no like tactics. It was just throwing numbers. They were just landing soft shots. And I thought Nick Ball started to edge it. And then he came back again. He had a bit of a wake-up call. He had a Bolkin in the corner. He then upped the work ante a bit again in the later stages of the round. And I'm sure I had Figueroa going. By the 12th round, I had him 105, 104, 1 round up. It was that close. It was so close of a fight. Nick Ball, in the 11th round, he got told to go for it. And I think that was his undoing. He wildly swung. He got caught, landed face down. And I'm not being funny. Normally, when a fighter lands like this, they don't really get up because you're landing face down for a reason. He was exhausted. He was absolutely out on his feet. As much as people can disagree... Yeah, as much as people want to disagree and dislike on Nick Ball, he got up from that. And then, obviously, as a result of that, again, a couple seconds later, moments later, he was knocked through the ropes, near enough unconscious. Fair play to Figueroa coming up in a wild, hostile Liverpool environment. But, you know, he got the job done. He's walked away free-weight world champion now. You can't take that away from him. I didn't appreciate the Scouse fans chucking things into the ring. I understand his corner celebrated, but you're going to celebrate. You're in the away corner. You've just won a free-weight world title against all the odds. You should not be throwing stuff in the ring at all against these athletes. It's not right. It shouldn't be happening. But, you know, fair play to Nick Ball. Like I say, got up, took the loss. I think he's still got a bright future ahead of him. He's only 28. I still think there's things he can do in this game. I just thought as well, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this. It looked a bit heavy. Like I'm used to seeing Nick Ball looking a lot leaner around the midriff, and I thought he looked quite filled out. I don't know if that had a play on him or whatever. But what are your thoughts on that? Did you think the same?
I've got I got a message in one of my group chats that Nick Ball was struggling with weight. He was struggling with the weight before the fight. I got about that 2 days ago. I think on the Thursday. I got a message saying that he was struggling with the weight. But the fight itself, Ricky, like you said, it was a really, really good fight. Both guys, Nick Ball early landing the bigger eye-catching shots. Figueroa's work rate just never stopped. He continued coming forward. I think in the rounds was so even. You had rounds where you saw Figueroa's work rate really getting to Nick Ball, but Nick Ball was also landing some good and picking some good shots. As it came to the later rounds, like you said, Manny Robles gave Figueroa a bollocking. I wasn't a fan of the commentary. I felt like the commentary just was ignoring a lot of work what Figueroa was doing and pointing out every time Nick Ball would land a jab or throw a shot and it clipped Figueroa. They would call it out. Nick Ball's jab was very good on the night. He was consistently rocking Figueroa's head back with the jab, but Figueroa was countering well. He'd never stopped being in front of Nick Ball. The stoppage itself, when Nick Ball went down like that, I felt like the referee should have waved it off. But Nick Ball was up at 5, which I can't argue with. You definitely give him the benefit of the doubt. He is the champion. And then Figueroa did and got rid of him. But what I'm hearing as well, I got that Nick Ball's team aren't happy that Figueroa's team jumped in the ring before the fight was waved off, which the way he went through the ropes after going down face first, I can't be surprised that they thought the fight was over. And I think the fight was over at that point. I think you can't go down face first once and then 10 seconds later, 12 seconds later, you're into the ropes like that, leaning over the ropes, your feet are twisted, the referee's over you. I think everyone in that arena thought the fight was over in that moment. I think once they jumped in, the referee sort of waved the fight off anyway. I don't think Nick would have got up properly. But yeah, the aftermath of it was an absolute joke. I think Nick Ball's team, the commission needs to have a word with them, because his team jumping in the ring to start on Figueroa's team for celebrating is an absolute joke. Because Kane was one of the guys in there, and I think he threw a kick at one of Figueroa's teams. Your team jumped in the ring when you got the stoppage, an unlikely stoppage. Your team jumped in the ring, you was happy. So why have you got an issue 2 fights later just because your mate's the one that's been sparked out, that you want to start a fight with Figueroa's team and have an issue with it? Like you said, there was away from home. The odds was against them. Nick Ball is the person that's been pushed to fight Inoue. Them getting an upset knockout like that in the 12th round, they've got every single right to celebrate. They even stopped celebrating to make sure Nick Ball was all right. But it's emotion. If something happens in the last minute of anything, you are going to celebrate. You're not going to instantly think about, oh, they're not going to like if I do this. It's emotion. That's what happens. And I think Nick Ball's team needs to have a look at themselves and really, when you're on top, you're happy to celebrate. You have to allow other people to celebrate when it's not your day. And they really need to have a look at themselves with that situation. But congratulations to Figueroa. Nick Ball will come again. I've always felt that Nick Ball's a good fighter, action-packed fighter, but the way people was talking about him, that he would run through a lot of people, I was on the other side of that. I didn't believe he was that kind of guy. I also had him losing to Raymond Ford in a very good fight, but I felt like he lost that fight. And there's a couple other fights where I felt Nick Ball's underperformed. I think his last fight, actually, before this, we sat on here, Ricky, and we said that he massively underperformed in that
Sam
fight.
Goodman.
So whether the weight is an issue, which it seemingly is, it seems like an issue. I got a message about it. He might need to move up. But moving up again for Nick Ball with the size of him, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah. I'm going to save that one for after anyway. But go on, Dan. You break your analysis down, mate.
So obviously I have watched this fight. This is one of the fights I did watch. I saw it very differently to both of you, to be honest with you. Obviously, you've touched on a few little points that I'll make, but I had Figueroa winning quite a lot of the rounds. I had Nick Ball, Figueroa winning by at least 3-4 rounds. I think from what I've seen of Nick Ball, as a fan of Nick Ball and watching all his fights, I thought he underperformed. I didn't think he was as fast as he usually is. He didn't seem to have the combos that he usually does. There was a lot of singular punches. Yes, the jab was good, but there was a lot of them. There was a lot of just single punches. He didn't seem like he could work his way around Figueroa's kind of movement and speed.
7-inch reach advantage as well.
Fights. Yeah, that's it. Now, obviously, with Nick Ball, the wrecking ball, he never usually sees that as a problem, because obviously he is only 5'2" and he is ferocious, and he does usually jump in, and he comes in with these uppercuts, he comes in with the big overhand rights, but he just didn't look himself. And obviously Eric mentioning obviously the weight issue, I think that was clear to see that there was an issue. To me, he didn't look his usual self at all. I disagree with Eric on the Raymond Ford fight. I thought he fought amazing in that fight, and I think he won that fight easily. But again, it's everyone has their own opinions. But I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed at all with Nick Ball, and it's a shock because I like Nick Ball a lot. I think he's a very good fighter. For someone that's 5'2" and always fights people that are bigger than him as well, with bigger and longer reaches, I think it was a letdown. Looking at the stats after the fight, Figueroa actually threw 200 punches more than Nick Ball as well, and landed more. Power punches, he landed 40 more. Nick Ball landed 30 more punches overall, but the power punches, Figueroa landed more. I was just very disappointed with Nick Ball.
Yeah, his jab was his main figure. He kept shooting for that uppercut, what he caught Figueroa in the first couple of rounds. He kept going for that. Like you said, Dan, I don't disagree with that. His shots was one shot at a time, whereas Figueroa was throwing in flurries. But Nick Ball, I think he believes. I think he's grown, or his team's grown into a hype that he can just walk through anything and anyone. His defense was awful on the night, in my opinion.
I've got that written down as well.
He blocks punches with his face, way too much, for a small guy. And like I said, I don't mind Nick Ball, but I'm over hyped to what his abilities really is. That, like I said before, the Sam Goodman fight, his last performance, and we said then that he can't fight like this. He needs a better performance. But I think we gave him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But when you're at world level and you're fighting former world champions, you're gonna get unstuck. Go on.
Yeah. I think obviously what we just mentioned just now as well, the fight against Sam Goodman, the performance wasn't there either. Yes, he got the win, but again, the performance wasn't there. It's like his last two fights haven't been standout fights, whereas the fights before that, he was looking standout. He was looking like he was progressing. He was looking like he was going to be a very good world champion. Obviously, this performance this time, I mean, I've written down as well, he kept lowering his hands. I'm not used to seeing Nick Ball fight like that, because usually, like I said, he rushes in, he wants to get in close.
That peekaboo style, hasn't he?
Yeah, that peekaboo style. And he did it at times, but he didn't have that same work rate and that same commitment to his ability. And the hands were low, and he got caught. That first knockdown, his hands were here. And he got caught with an overhand left that hit him straight on the jaw. It was an absolute peach of a shot. But that wouldn't have happened if his hands had been up. Now, obviously, it was 12th round. He was tired. His hands were obviously lowering. But he did that all the way through the fight, in my opinion. His hands were very low. His defense was questionable.
He was loaded up then.
They were loading up for the big shots, weren't they?
Shot. He was loading up for the big shot as he got caught. You could see it. He was trying to bait Figueroa in. As he was stepping back, he was baiting, but you can do that early in a fight, maybe you can do that when you're fresher, where you feel like you're quicker. But when Figueroa has a height and a reach advantage from you, you pinning yourself against the ropes isn't the best idea because there's nowhere you can go.
What I will
Figueroa just got there before. Go on.
What I will say as well is it was quite refreshing to see the scorecards released. That two of the judges actually had Figueroa up. I thought with the fight being as close as what it were, round by round, and scoring the fight off of what you prefer. I expected Nick Ball to be in the lead because he's the home fighter. Now, I feel like the judge that had Nick Ball 107, 102, I feel like that were a bit of a shambles of a scorecard. But the 106,
absolute
the 106 scorecards, I thought were pretty good. And so Figueroa, in reality, was going to get that win anyway, even if it went to the scorecards. But yeah, no, overall, great fight. I'd see that again. But what I would say is I think if Nick Ball is struggling with the weight, then he really needs to have some reflection on how he wants his career to turn out, because at his height, I can't see him going up again. I really can't see it happening. I don't think he's got the power or maybe even the work rate. If he's struggling with the weight, he looked, like I say, he looked a lot bigger around the midriff we're used to seeing. If that impacts his style, which is in, out, quick, moving, angle changes, footwork, confusing your opponent, using your height to your advantage rather than a disadvantage, I think if you start gaining that weight, you become a bit more flat-footed. Your energy levels deplete because you're carrying extra muscle or extra weight. I think he needs to probably have a back to the drawing board and maybe look at how he's making weight, because he's made it before. Surely he can make it again. They used to say Terry Harper couldn't make weight and she'd never go back down to what she's at now. And now she's back. She went back down 2-3 fights ago. She's having the performance of her career. So it is all about who you're using, nutrition and strength and conditioning wise. So I think maybe some changes might need to be made, or at least some reflection about how they're making weight. But overall, like we said, great fight, a good show. It was a good show overall.
Yeah.
We need these shows to keep happening. I just want to touch on, I know that's the end of that. I just want to touch on quickly. Obviously, it was announced not long back, but obviously she's one of her own. Terry Harper versus Caroline Dubois. Early stages, but it's been announced for the 5th of April. I don't quite agree with the setup of the 5th of April. I think it's confusing to me to have this fight in London one night after the Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder fight. I feel like you're taking a lot of shine off this fight because this is a great fight for the women's boxing. It's a big fight. Caroline Dubois is playing the villain really well. She's pissing me right off with it, so she's playing it really well. Honestly, she's infuriated me because I love Terry. I'm a massive. I've done the hill sprints on a Saturday morning with Terry Harper. I love Terry Harper, so she's winding me up.
Listen, and I want the other side, because if you're gonna play a villain, that's how you play a villain. But you've got to take the fight. My criticism of Caroline before was, you talk what you can say what you want to say, but if whilst you're saying that you're not taking the fight, I don't want to hear it. I need you to go take those fights. If you're gonna be the villain and go take the fights. Actually have the fight. So for me, like you said, Ricky, she's playing the villain perfect. And you need a good guy to promote some of these fights. This is a natural a disdain to each other. They don't like each other's personality. They don't like each other. So it playing out like this is perfect promotion for them both. But I do agree with you. Having that on a Sunday night in London is crazy for me. I think it's crazy because I'm going to be in London on the Saturday night. At watch party, at 505 watch party, doing commentary for the Chisora versus Wilder fight. That's going to be mad. The amount of people that's going to be going to that fight, the amount of people we're going to have at the venue just to watch that fight. People aren't going to want to come out on a Sunday to go watch Caroline Caroline and Terry, unfortunately, because they've spent the money. They've got work on the Monday. Like, I don't like it. I don't like the thing. The card is actually a really good card as well. Got some good girls on there. I don't know. But later on, we'll give our predictions for that.
Yeah. Great women's boxing, just the wrong time. Dan, what are your thoughts on it?
I agree with everything Eric said, to be fair. I mean, I quite like Caroline Debar. I think she's played the part very well. I'm glad this fight's happening. I think it's going to be a great fight. But on a Sunday night, it's, I mean, what big fights over the years, the months have we seen on a Sunday night? It just doesn't usually happen. But it's good that it's happening. It's good to see that Sky Sports is back as well. And obviously Jake Paul's obviously trying to, make the brand bigger. He's bringing in some big boxes to his stable. And I think it'll be a great fight, but I think it's just a shame it's on a Sunday night.
Yeah, I agree, boys. Just a quick one then before we do leave. Obviously, we've got quite a few comments. Eric's just banged one up actually. We'll filter through these comments quickly, and then we'll call it a bit. We'll wrap it up, boys. So we'll start from the top. Eric, I don't know if you've crashed, but my mum's tuned in. Hello, Yorkshire lads. Hi, mum. You've got yours truly, Trey. Yes, my brothers.
Right.
Early one for the Yorkshire boys. Listen, it's a Sunday afternoon, right after the shows. It's tactical, Trey. It's tactical. Big up to Dan, Captain Eric, and the Hands of Stone Bricket. Loving the shirt, United. Libby, thank you for tuning in up to the Yorkshire lads. Mom, when's my special guest coming on? It's in the pipeline because we've got the new structure in the way we're going to be doing shows. We're going to work out how to sort of organise the guests for which shows. But I am thinking in either the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned. I'm going to work out and I'm going to get him on. Don't worry. Eric, have we talked about Figueroa's team and how he should have been given a DQ? No, he has not. So when Eric is back, we'll quiz him on that one, Jack. If I'm invited, I might go both shows. But you're down that way on, Jack. See me as well, aren't you? Well, that makes sense straight, to be fair.
Good point, Matt, yeah.
No one's working bank holiday Monday. Well, sometimes I do, to be fair, because I'm a greedy son of a gun, but it is what it is. Walden versus Clark, one was a Sunday. Yes, it was. It's not usual, though. That's what we're just getting at, Jack. It's not very often that you get those shows on a Sunday. Got to give props to MVP, times Sky Sports Boxing. It's a bit of a stinging blow to Boxer. Sky Sports were taking a break, but they were really just on to Jake.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, mate. You're back. Yeah. Ricky, got to watch fight with Eric. We're gonna do. Go on, Eric.
With Jack's comment about I did Figueroa's team jumping into the ring early before the referee actually waved.
Yeah, we've covered that. We've covered that.
We have covered it. I also, like I said, Nick Paul's team have to be careful. They are clutching at straws because also they wrap their hands without Figueroa's team being present. So, listen, I know which one I would rather. I would rather a team jump into the ring a few seconds early to celebrate than someone having their hands wrapped without a member of the opposition team present to view that. So, yeah, I don't think they can complain too much about that, Jack, but I do get you. And like I said, I did touch on that. I said that you can understand it. Nick Ball did look like he was completely out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, boys, that's all for me. If you've got anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good.
No, that's it. I'm good. Well done with the first episode of the final round. But yeah, we will get better. We will get better. Production will get a bit better. We can do a watch party at the hub now. We can get you and Eric one day. I tell you what, that would have been sick for the Sunday if I could have stopped on the Sunday. I don't think I could be able to do 2 days, the Saturday and the Sunday.
My son's birthday weekend that weekend anyway. So,
but yeah, we definitely will have to do a watch along. And plus, Trey, we'll have to do a Man United one anyway. We'll have to do a football one because, you know, it's not only Ricky who's a United fan. We're there.
Yes.
It's not only Ricky.
Can get it.
But
putting the Premier League on notice.
Boys, I'm going to go eat because I'm
hungry
as hell. I need to go eat.
Right. Boys, great show.
Yeah, right.
Thank you to everyone for tuning in.
Boys.
See you later.
Peace.
Out, one glove high, one dream loud, no doubt. Crossroads boxing from Yorkshire. Turn the lights up, turn the mics on. Fighter interviews, keep your guard up. When the truth hits, Crossroads boxing from Yorkshire. From the first ring bell to the